Hi again, everybody. It's Mona from Back Pain Movement Makers. Well, today is day 18 of our 365 days free challenge. A challenge for us to go live every day and talk about healing back pain for good and also living a fulfilled life, but also a challenge for you to begin to implement the 10 daily holistic healing habits that I have received as a trans channel from the highest consciousness. And today we're going to talk a little bit. I'm going to channel today. Why, and the subject for today is why not begin today to put your footprints on the world? Okay. So, first of all, what would you like to be remembered for? That is the biggest question. And I can assure you, when you ask that question to yourself, it's not important anymore the things that you had, like money, like things, like social status, things like that. Maybe that could be also, of course, but the only thing that really matters in the end is how you treated people, and especially your near and dear ones. How will they remember you and the rest of the world that has been in contact with you as well? How will they remember you and what you contributed to? And this don't have to be huge things. This don't have to be like you have helped 300,000 people or 300 million people. That is really good too, of course. But when we're here, it's really important. I read in one of the spiritual books that I read. I don't remember which one, but it said like this: the most important person in your life is the person that is right in front of you in this now. And that is really hard to live by, but I'm trying. And I have not succeeded yet. The highest consciousness knows that, but I'm trying. And I'm trying to get to know who or what I really am. And when you get to know yourself a little better and you understand that you're not the address where you live at, you're not your shoes or your car or your social status or things like that, when you come to realize that, and I am not there yet, that God created me or the highest consciousness created me a long time ago, and this is not me, the hair, the body, that is not me. It's the essence of me that is my true self. And the only thing that really, really matters is love, because love is eternal. And when you realize that more and more, it's easier to not be focused on the things in the outer realm that before meant a lot. It's easier to be pleased with what you have. But that doesn't mean that I don't have plans, that doesn't mean that I don't want to reach more people with things that I think that people can benefit from and things like that. But it gives me an inner purpose. And the purpose in your life, if that is something that you are willing to give to others unconditionally, then you have found the right thing, because that will make a difference. And that doesn't mean how many lives you touch. It makes your life meaningful. And that is the most important thing, I think, through the guidance that I've got and so on. But I think that you're quite curious. So I think I'm going to channel the highest consciousness now so you could get a glimpse of it. And the subject, why don't begin today with with making a difference and putting your footprints on the world today. When we talk about putting footprints on the world, that expression has had a quite negative tone for quite some years on Earth now. It refers to humanity not taking care of Mother Earth and creating environmental problems that will last for generations if nothing is done to change that. But now we should put that expression, to put footprints on the world, in another content. And that content is you being someone that is needed right now in the world right now. You chose to come here before you came to the Earth plane. You decided that you wanted to come here again. You have with your guides and teachers, you have an agenda. You have decided to come here to experience who and what you are. You truly are. And what kind of ways you could give of yourself to the world unconditionally. What kind of expression would you give your love for life? Now we're talking about flow here. We're talking about a German shepherd who loves his squeezy toy. He is very, very pleased with his life right now. Think about if everyone could be that as humans as well, and just be happy and laughing all over the place for just a squeaky toy. Well, enough about the fooling around here. What we mean is that joy should be your North Star. And we're talking about flow. For example, an artist in any area, music, paintings, designing things like clothing, like furniture, could be anything. And also, almost every one of you knows when you are in flow, when you do something that is so meaningful and fun for you that you do not need someone else's approval. You do not need somebody else commenting in a positive way. You know it feels something in you. It is like an inner peace. And that is unconditional love for life. Unconditional love on a daily basis doesn't mean that you love everyone because of their behaviors. You could love everyone for what they are. They are eternal, holy beings, just as yourself, that are perfect from their existence. And then we're not talking about the existence as a human being on earth. We're talking about the energy, the consciousness, the love that you are, that is eternal. But God, the highest consciousness, we were about to use the word God, but the word God is so infected in some ways. So we don't want to use that word. We want to use the highest consciousness instead, because that is not that infected. And the highest consciousness we have created you so we could experience ourselves and everything that is created also through you. So for example, Mona, she loves to decorate things like rooms in the house, like she makes small paintings that is she's not painting that much. She's writing letters on small pieces of wood that she has used wallpaper on, for example, and glued it on. And then she writes small letters on it, and then she could create words with arranging the letters. For example, their daughters' names, words that are really important to them, and so on. So, and when she does that, she's not aware of either time nor space, because it's so fulfilling. And she is kind of picky about what her environment looks like at home or at work or things like that. So of course, these small signs with the letters on, they are colored matched to the rooms that they are in, and so on. And that really fulfills her. And you could think about this, well, that is not unconditional love. Well, unconditional love is creativity. Unconditional love is freedom. Unconditional love is enjoying life, enjoying yourself. That is what's life meant to be, a joyous ride. But of course, if you couldn't be sad and feel negative things, you wouldn't be able to experience joy. But feeling depressed is not your normal. That is not your normal. You have been so programmed and trained. For example, look at kids. They are enjoying themselves fully every minute until they get in the school or the preschool system, where they are told to sit still and do what the adults say you should do. You should not running around just because it's sunny outside and you see a little bird flying from one tree to another. You should not do that. So you're trained and you're programmed to not enjoy life fully. And of course, you will get depressed from trying to block the essence of life, the essence of you, and that is unconditional love trying to express itself through you. So what we are talking about here, what kind of footprints are you satisfied with putting on the world today? What do you enjoy doing so much that it absolutely fills your whole heart and soul by doing? Maybe you love reading aloud. Okay, maybe you could volunteer reading for older people that can't read that much because they have lost their sight. Or for young kids, they love hearing adventures read to them aloud. Or, for example, you're very good at gardening. Okay, why don't you, for example, open up your garden, telling your neighbors, telling your friends that you could come, they are welcome over to your garden and just have a little snack there and just watch what you have planted. Maybe you find some new friends. You could share seeds with each other. This is about focusing on what makes you so darn happy. What makes you so happy, and how can you share that joy, that love for life, that joyous feeling that cannot be stopped and should not be stopped? Because if it is stopped, then you will become sick. You will become ill as a sign that you are not on the right way here. It's the wrong way. It's not like someone is getting punished. It's just getting results that you are on the wrong path. You need to turn around. You are all made of unconditional love, but also for unconditional love. You're created for sharing unconditional love, things that satisfy you in a way that cannot be described. Maybe you love something that is so weird that you cannot even imagine someone feeling absolutely sucked up in that feeling because it's so weird. Well, hello, all the social media platforms today, it's easier than ever to find the other ones. You're not alone fancying that particular thing. No, no one is. But you just have to find people that appreciate the same things as you. And when you find them and you share unconditionally, then something happens. It takes your focus out of your pain. You begin to look forward to sharing things that makes you happy. Sharing things. For example, if you just love baking and you are so fabulous good at baking, but everyone around you cannot even understand because they are kind of sick eating everything because you love baking. So you bake a lot. Think about finding people that, for example, you could join each other and you could have an event about baking. Maybe you could find persons in another part of the world that bake things that you have never heard about before. And you could start sharing with each other. Think about that. Think about that you don't have to sit there and feel that your relatives are so sick and tired of hearing you talk about baking, but you could find people on the other side of the world that loves baking as much as you do. And together you create a whole new energy, and the focus on your pain goes down, and the sharing and the baking and making a difference and all the positive things will start a new positive cycle. That is essential in the healing process, because what will happen? What will happen with the stress levels? It will go down. What will happen with your focus? Your focus will become more and more of new ways of sharing new things that has to do with baking, instead of feeling just like a victim. So you don't have to do like Mona and Thomas is doing. Thomas is almost never in front of the camera because he's not very comfortable being that, and he thinks that his English sucks. He doesn't, but he thinks that way. Uh, and and because language is not important here. If you think that language is important, then you're missing the point. And then you should follow someone else instead, because Mona and Thomas, their mother tongue is Swedish. Okay? And we have to accept that. But we decided together that this was too big for just being in Sweden. Okay? The 10 daily holistic healing habits will help people heal for good and live a fulfilled life. That is why we have given it, and that is why we have given it to you right now. So you can be focused on giving unconditional life, joy of life and love and happiness together, instead of focusing on things that are on the news. That won't help you to heal. It will make you worse. Okay. We're getting a little bit engaged here. So we are not losing our temper in any way, but you need to hear this. You need to shift your focus from being a victim and just having the focus on pain and sickness and illness. You have to shift your focus, because what you focus on you will get more of that. What you resist persist. That is the law when we're talking about divine laws and the things that work in the real world, not what humans have made up. Okay? That was everything for today. So try to sit down for a moment when you have watched this. Sit down for yourself and think about, what do I really enjoy doing? And how can I begin to give of that to the world? Because if you give of what you love, you cannot help to give of yourself. Did you hear that? If you begin to give of something that you love to do, you cannot help to give of yourself to the world. Okay? Caring is sharing. See you some other day. Bye. Okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that giving of yourself, doing things, for example, with the baking, I thought about, That how could how could that be give of yourself about the baking? So the thing that the highest consciousness said that you cannot help give of yourself if you give and share the things that you love. I didn't know that. I learned something today as well. Okay. Tomorrow, I'm going to ask the highest consciousness again for some questions so you could define your roadblocks uh, to this. What's the third? It's the third daily holistic healing habit so far. So tomorrow I'm going to channel again, and then you're going to get some questions so you could understand what roadblocks you have personally. The questions usually when we do this kind of when I do this kind of channeling for myself with questions or for someone else, then it's almost always like questions back, and the questions are really really helpful. And the first habit, being present and conscious as much as possible, you got some of those questions, so this will be all not the same questions of course, but it will be the same um, method or what you call it to find those roadblocks. So that is everything for tomorrow. So, well, if you enjoy, please share. I shouldn't have said that. Well, the platform might kick me in the ass, but I don't care. It just slipped. Okay. See you tomorrow then. Hopefully, have a really lovely evening, morning, day, night, wherever it is. Okay. Bye.